Morning, everybody. I hope you had a nice weekend. I hope you enjoyed the sunshine. I had to switch my plans up a little bit. My original hope was that I would be able to have a Google Meet with everybody today to kind of go over some information, but I there's going to be some information hopefully communicated today from the administration and from the school district. And so I am going to have a very, very important Google Meet later this week. So I hope you will all join me on Wednesday once that information is communicated. I just don't want to give out anything before it's been said by the principal, but school's still going as normal. The one thing that is going to change is the assignment that I'm going to give you today is the only assignment that I'm going to give you this week. So you're not going to have any new assignments on Wednesday this week. So today's assignment and the work that I ask you to do today, that's it. So if you finish with it today, you can just click turn in. And then I just ask that you join me for our Google Meet on Wednesday so that we can kind of go over some stuff. What we're going to be doing today, it's a little like, we're switching things up. I'm not going to be doing a weekly work form. I don't have a warm-up. I don't have an exit ticket. What I have today is this really, really, really awesome short story by Isaac Asimov called The Fun They Had. And so what I'm going to do for this video is I'm actually going to read it to you guys. I'm going to share it and read it because some people like having stories read to them. So I will read it for you. And then there are questions that are going to be posted up on Google Classroom that you just answer directly on the form that I give you. And then click turn in. So just quickly, on Thursday, there will be a book pickup at the school. So you can pick up either The Outsiders or The Hobbit, depending on which book you chose in last week's attendance form. If you have not done that, if you forgot to do the attendance form last week, please, please, please go and do that so that I know what book to put you on my list, which book you want. And so yeah, on Thursday, you can go pick it up. If you cannot make it on Thursday and you need to have the physical book given to you at a different time, just please email me and let me know, and I can arrange something for you. I also will be posting the ebook up on Google Classroom for both books, both The Hobbit and The Outsiders. And then I am still working on finding the audiobook. So those are a little bit trickier to find than I thought. I can find them, but it's just how do I share them? So let's see if there's anything else I need to talk about. Yeah, just remember, if I give you a book, or excuse me, if I return an assignment to you, you don't need to turn it back into me. If you have an assignment that is returned to you and it is graded, do not submit it again. I've had people do that even after I talked about it last week. So please, if I return something to you, that's my way of staying organized on what I've graded and what still needs to be graded. So please do not resubmit something if it is already graded. All right? Okay, so let me go ahead, and if you do not want the story read to you, and if you do not need to have the questions, if you don't need to go over the questions, you can end the video now, and then you can just head on over to Google Classroom and read the story and answer the questions. However, if you are the type of person that really likes to have the story read to you and you want to have me read through the questions, then stay on, and I will be doing that right now. Okay, go ahead. Okay, so this is a very short story. It's only 2 pages long. It's written by Isaac Asimov, who is a very well known and highly acclaimed science fiction writer. So this is set, this story is set in the future, and I want you to think about how this connects to our current situation of doing online learning. Okay, so The Fun They Had by Isaac Asimov. Marjorie even wrote about it in her diary, Margie even wrote about it that night in her diary. Ooh, it's a Monday. On the page headed May 17th, 2157, she wrote, "Today, Tommy found a real book. It was a very old book. Margie's grandfather once said that when he was a little boy, his grandfather told him that there was a time when all stories were printed on paper. They turned the pages, which were yellow and crinkly, and it was awfully funny to read words that stood still instead of moving the way they were supposed to on a screen, you know. And then when they turned back to the page before, it had the same words on it that it had had when they read it the first time. Gee, said Tommy, what a waste. When you're through with the book, you just throw it away, I guess. Our television screen must have had 1,000,000 books on it, and it's good for plenty more. I wouldn't throw it away. Same with mine, said Margie. She was 11 and hadn't seen as many telebooks as Tommy had. He was 13. She said, where did you find it? In my house. He pointed without looking because he was busy reading. In the attic. What's it about? School. Margie was scornful. School? What's there to write about school? I hate school. Margie always hated school, but now she hated it more than ever. The mechanical teacher had been giving her test after test in geography, and she had been doing worse and worse until her mother had shaken her head sorrowfully and sent for the county inspector. He was a round little man with a red face and a whole box of tools with dials and wires. He smiled at Margie and gave her an apple, then took the teacher apart. Margie had hoped he wouldn't know how to put it together again, but he knew how all right. And after an hour or so, there it was again, large and black and ugly, with a big screen on which all the lessons were shown and all the questions were asked. That wasn't so bad. The part Margie hated the most was the slot where she had to put homework and test papers. She always had to write them out in a punch code they made her learn when she was 6 years old, and the mechanical teacher calculated the mark in no time, the mark meaning what you got on the assignment. The inspector had smiled after he was finished and patted Margie's head. He said to their mother, it's not the little girl's fault, Mrs. Jones. I think the geography sector was geared a little too quick. Those things happen sometimes. I've slowed it up to an average 10-year level. Actually, the overall pattern of her progress is quite satisfactory. And he patted Margie's head again. Margie was disappointed. She had been hoping that they would take the teacher away altogether. They had once taken Tommy's teacher away for nearly a month because the history sector had blanked out completely. So she said to Tommy, why would anyone write about school? Tommy looked at her with very superior eyes. Because it's not our kind of school, stupid. This is the old kind of school that they had hundreds and hundreds of years ago, he added loftily, pronouncing the word carefully. Centuries ago. Margie was hurt. Well, I didn't know what kind of school they had all that time ago. She read the book over his shoulder for a while and said, anyway, they had a teacher. Sure, they had a teacher, but it wasn't a regular teacher. It was a man. A man? How could a man be a teacher? Well, he just told the boys and girls things and gave them homework and asked them questions. Man isn't smart enough. Sure he is. My father knows as much as my teacher. He can't. A man can't know as much as a teacher. He knows almost as much, I betcha. Margie wasn't prepared to dispute that. She said, I wouldn't want a strange man in my house to teach me. Tommy screamed with laughter. You don't know much, Margie. The teachers didn't live in the house. They had a special building and all the kids went there. And all the kids learned the same thing? Sure, if they were the same age. But my mother says a teacher has to be adjusted to fit the mind of each boy and girl it teaches, and that each kid has to be taught differently. Just the same, they didn't do it that way then. If you didn't like it, you don't have to read the book. I didn't say I didn't like it, Margie said quickly. She wanted to read about those funny schools. They weren't even half finished when Margie's mother called, Margie, school! Margie looked up. Not yet, Mama. Now, said Mrs. Jones, and it's probably time for Tommy, too. Margie said to Tommy, can I read the book some more with you after school? Maybe, he said nonchalantly. He walked away whistling, the dusty old book tucked beneath his arm. Margie went into the schoolroom. It was right next to her bedroom, and the mechanical teacher was on and waiting for her. It was always on at the same time every day except Saturday and Sunday, because her mother said little girls learned better if they learned at regular hours. The screen was lit up and it said, today's arithmetic lesson is on the addition of proper fractions. Please insert yesterday's homework in the proper slot. Margie did so with a sigh. She was thinking about the old schools they had when her grandfather's grandfather was a little boy. All the kids from the whole neighborhood came, laughing and shouting in the schoolyard, sitting together in the schoolroom, going home together at the end of the day. They learned the same things so they could help one another on the homework and talk about it. And the teachers were people. The mechanical teacher was flashing on the screen. When we add the fractions 1/2 and 1/4, Margie was thinking about how the kids must have loved it in the old days. She was thinking about the fun they had. All right. I mean, talk about a story that connects with what we're currently going through. Sometimes I feel like a mechanical teacher just teaching you in your room. All right, so here are the questions that I want you to answer. So this is going to be pushed onto Google Classroom as your own document, so you get to answer directly on there. So here are the directions. Complete the questions below in a different color and in complete sentences. Make sure your answers completely answer the question. So make sure you're answering the whole question. Number 1, what does Margie write in her diary? And why do you think she uses the word real to describe a book? Number 2, what did Margie and Tommy think about the book at first, and cite some evidence from the story to show what their impressions of the book were? Number 3, explain how Margie feels about school and why does she have this perspective? Why does she feel that way about school? And cite evidence from the story. Number 4, when Margie says, quote, he can't, a man can't know as much as a teacher. What does she say about the limitations of a human teacher? What is she saying that human teachers can't do that mechanical teachers can? And do you agree with her? Number 5, list 2 advantages, at least one from the text. So one can be from the text and one can be from your own mind, of studying at home with a computer teacher. So what are the advantages? 2 advantages of having a computer teacher at home that is specifically tailored to your mind. And number 6, list 2 advantages, at least one from the text, of studying in a school with other students. So the school like we know it, or we used to know it before COVID. So here's the last thing. So here's the general question. Do you believe that it is better for people to learn from an individual computer-based tutor in their homes or in a traditional school? Cite evidence from the text and other examples from real life to support your claim. So all you need to do is you need to fill out this thesis statement. So I believe it's better for people to learn from, and then you choose one or the other. And then you give me your reasons and the evidence. You have to give 3. At least one has to be from the text. So one of the reasons needs to be from the text, okay? Now, for extra credit, you can take this chart and your thesis statement and write a paragraph, a fully fleshed out paragraph, because you're not writing a full paragraph for, I should probably label this. So you don't need to write a fully fleshed out paragraph for that one, but you can for extra credit, and I'll give you 5 points extra credit for it. Right, we're throwing all the rules out the window now. All right, so let me stop this share. Okay, please let me know if you have any questions. I can do Google Meet, I can do texting, I can do Remind, I can do talking on the phone. Any way that you need to get a hold of me, I am here for you. Like I said, we'll do a Google Meet on Wednesday. Please, please, please try to attend. If you're buds with somebody in the class that maybe hasn't been showing up, please, of course, I'm reaching out to them, but they're much more likely to listen to you than they are to listen to me. So if you can text some of those people and just say, hey, come to the Google Meet on Wednesday during language arts, Miss Billings has something to talk about, I would be incredibly grateful, like so grateful if you would do that. I would love to have everybody in the class on that Google Meet. That's my #1 goal. All right. Have a fantastic day. Let me know if you have any questions. I hope you enjoyed this story. It's such a good story. I have more. If you really like these type of stories, I got a bunch more in the arsenal. If you want to let me know, and I can give you some recommendations. Okay, everybody. Have a lovely, I'm trying to get my stop recording button. Okay, have a good day. Bye.